What the happened in Super Bowl XLVII? Well, I'd usually start with the quarterback matchup. The main matchup everybody was focused on this game was the one between both head coaches, brothers Jim and John Harbaugh, causing the game to be affectionately referred to as the Harbaugh Bowl. John's Ravens were quarterbacked by Joe Flacco, veteran QB who is playing like a man possessed in this playoff run, and Jim's 49ers were quarterbacked by Colin Kaepernick, who was a second-year player and was revolutionizing how people viewed the quarterback position with his dual-threat style of play. The Niners got the ball first and looked to start off strong with a nice throw by Cap to Vernon Davis for a big gain, but an illegal formation call wiped out the play. Next try, they handed it to Frank Gore, who went nowhere, and on 2nd and 15, Kaepernick play faked the wrong way before rolling right and throwing incomplete to Walker on the sideline. On 3rd, they tried a draw to Gore, who fell forward for a few but was well short of the line to gain, and they'd punt away their first possession. A good return got Flacco and the Ravens started at midfield, where Flacco completed his first pass to fullback Vontae Leach, who took it for 8 before going down. Elevator boxing instructor Ray Rice punched through the line on 2nd and 2 to easily pick up the first, before Flacco lofted one to Torrey Smith on a corner route for a big gain to get into the red zone. Rice got almost nothing on the next play, and on 2nd, Flacco play faked and avoided the rush for as long as he could before throwing it away in Smith's direction out the back of the end zone. On 3rd and 9, a defender came across early, giving the Ravens a free play, and Flacco missed his tight end Pitta high, but at least they had another try. On 3rd and 4, Flacco caught it in the empty backfield before launching it down the seam to Anquan Bolden, who jumped up and snagged it for the first score of the game, and Justin Tucker ended the drive with a happy ending and booted through the extra point to give the Ravens a 7-0 lead. Hoover got the first touch of the next drive, where he slipped and lost a yard. Kaepernick dropped back on 2nd and hit Michael Crabtree coming over the middle, where he broke an attempted tackle from Ray Lewis and got the first and more. Gore got another carry for nothing from a strange 3-back look, and on 2nd and 10, he got it again, weaving through tacklers and getting a good gain of 8 to set up 3rd and manageable. Kaepernick took the snap on a QB draw where he got past midfield into Ravens territory before going down. From the pistol, he surveyed the field before breaking the pocket and running for a good gain of 7, and on 2nd, Gore took another handoff and fell forward, moving the chains again. Next play, Kaepernick lofted it up the seam for Davis, and the chunk play got them inside the 10 of Baltimore. Next play, they faked an end around to Ted Ginn and tried Frank Gore up the middle, but he was wrapped up in the backfield. On 2nd and goal, Cap avoided a free rusher on a blitz, and he threw an overcooked ball for Crabtree that went off his fingertips and fell incomplete. On 3rd, their O-line just sold against the 3-man rush, and Kaepernick went down for a huge loss. They'd be settling for a field goal, and Akers' kick was good. It was 7-3 nearing the end of the first. Jacoby Jones returned a kickoff from deep, more on that later, and on 1st down, Flacco rolled out on a bootleg and slung it at the last second to Pitt on a comeback for 9, and on 2nd, Rice failed to convert, but on 3rd and 1, they handed it to him again and he fell forward for what they needed. Rice fell forward again for 3, Flacco tried a dangerous throw into traffic that fell incomplete, and on 3rd and long, Flacco fended off a defender while scrambling for the sideline and just let go of a YOLO ball down the sideline that was miraculously hauled in by Bolden for a crucial first. Flacco was heavily pressured again on 1st, where he evaded multiple rushers before flipping it to Leach to avoid a sack, but they still lost a few yards. He then tried another deep ball to Smith down the sideline, but missed, and on 3rd and 13, Flacco stepped up into a sack and was buried alive outside field goal range. The Niners got the ball back to start the 2nd quarter, and Kaepernick dropped back before delivering an absolute bullet to Davis on a slant for a big gain to get them near midfield. Back in the pistol, he hit Davis again on a stick route for another quick first, and on the next play, from a full backfield, they handed it to LaMichael James for a good gain to move them into field goal range. Gore came back in and picked up a first on another good carry, and the next snap, James got another carry where he evaded multiple guys in the backfield to try and get back to the line of scrimmage, where the ball was punched out by Upshaw, and Arthur Jones dove on it to recover for Baltimore. The Ravens got it back, and a stretch run to Pierce got them 5 before they gave it to him again up the gut to set up 3rd and 1, where another power run behind the fullback moved the chains. Flacco quickly hit Pitta in the flat for a good gain on the next play, and on 2nd and short, Pierce got blasted, but got just what they needed to move the sticks again. After taking the snap from the shield, Flacco hitched and delivered a heavily contested throw to tight end Ed Dixon, who battled through contact and had to go and re-catch the ball before falling down inside San Fran's 30. Rice leapt over fallen defenders to pick up 7 on 1st, and on 2nd, Flacco hit Dixon again on a play-action crosser to get them inside the 10, and with a face mask penalty tacked on 2, it got them to the 4, and they were knocking on the door. Rice fell forward and got them halfway there on 1st down, and on 2nd, Flacco play-faked and rocketed it to Pitta in the end zone, beating the zone coverage and stretching their lead to 11 halfway through the 2nd quarter after a good kick by Deshaun Watson's right-hand man. On 1st down from a crowded backfield, Cap play-faked and dropped back before throwing a rocket right to Ed Reed, who was previously injured but came back out and snagged the turnover. A crash out erupted between both teams, and after the refs got it under control, the Ravens got possession at San Fran's 38, where Rice took the handoff before working through arm tackles and gaining 6. On second, Leach caught the quick throw to the flat to move the sticks. Rice went nowhere on first, but on second he got a better carry for 5, and on third and 4, Flacco hit him in the flat where he stopped on a dime, took 3 guys' ankles, and darted through the defense for the conversion. From the 15, Pierce took the next carry, spinning through 2 tacklers in the backfield before bouncing outside, but they were ready for him out there too, only a gain of 1. Flacco's next throw went right through Bolden's hands on the quick in and was almost intercepted. On third and long, Flacco tried a jump ball to the corner of the end zone for Smith, but it was too high. John decided to try some trickery on the field goal as the tugster caught a direct snap and headed to his left behind a lead blocker, but he was pushed out about a yard short of the marker, and they turned it over on downs to the Niners at their own 5 with 3 minutes left in the half. Gore went nowhere on first on the outside run, and on second, Kaepernick tried Randy Moss, but it got jumped and almost picked by Kerry Williams. After the scary almost turnover, the Niners just decided to get their punter some more room with a draw to Gore, and they'd punt it to Jones, who muffed the punt, picked it up, and still got a good gain to get the Ravens near midfield. Flacco threw it high to Jones on the slant on first, and it got tipped incomplete. On second, he was almost intercepted again as his receiver Smith had to play DB and just try and break up the jump ball. And on third, Flacco stepped through the rush and just heaved it for Jacoby Jones on the deep post, and he rolled backwards with the ball, catching it and popping up to his feet, where he danced around both San Fran's safeties and worked his way into the end zone for a score inside the 2-minute warning. Cap hit Crabtree on a quick stick to get them 6. He dropped back on second and delivered a nice throw to Delaney Walker on a corner route for a first and a big gain. With a roughing the passer call tacked on at the end, it moved them across the midfield to Baltimore's 45, where Cap threw incomplete for Moss on first before finding Walker again up the seam for a big gain to set them up in the red zone, where Kaepernick hit Davis quickly on a stick route to get them inside the 10, and on second and short with 25 seconds left, they tried an inside handoff to Gore for no gain, and on third, Cap rolled right but just had to slide down and avoid a big hit as everybody was covered, and they'd settle for 3 to end the half down 15. Baltimore would receive after half, and something crazy happened. Akers' kick looked like it might be boomed out of the back of the end zone, but Jacoby Jones decided to field it and take it out of the back, and zipped his way through the teeth of the defense, getting by everybody in a flash and taking it all the way home to grow Baltimore's lead 28-6 to start the second half. Down 22, Kaepernick took the snap from empty and rolled left before hitting Crabtree over the shoulder on the run, and he got rolling down the sideline for a big gain. Gore got a short gain on first, and on second and 7, Kaepernick tried his best to avoid the rush, but he was tripped up from behind and lost 6. And before they could run the 3rd and 13 play, half the power went out in Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and play had to be suspended for 34 minutes before the problem was fixed and they could resume. Kaepernick scrambled to his right to avoid the rush before checking it underneath to his tight end Walker, who got his helmet knocked off and was tackled well short of the line to gain, and they'd be punting after the long delay. Flacco started the drive with a nice throw to Smith, who was in a mismatch with a linebacker, and he was able to get 15 before going down. Rice just fell forward for 3 on the next play, and on second, there was some miscommunication between Flacco and Bolden as it just got thrown away. On 3rd and 7, Flacco tried Rice underneath, and he was almost able to work his way to the marker, but he came up barely short, and they'd be punting as well. Kaepernick showed off his speed as a runner on the next play as he got around the edge and easily picked up 5 before going out. He did it again on the next play as he faked the give to Gore and surveyed briefly before taking off into the open gap for about 15. Gore got a short gain on first, and on second, Cap dropped back and launched one deep for Crabtree. The pass was perfectly placed, but the defender got a hand in there and it was broken up. On 3rd and 8, Kaepernick fired to Moss on a curl, and they hooked up for his first catch of the game to get the first down. Next play, Cap caught the Ravens looking in zones as he was able to loft it over Bernard Pollard for the completion to Davis for another conversion. He found the hole in the zone again, this time to Crabtree against Baltimore's cover 2 look, where 2 tacklers held him upright and he bolted into the end zone for the Niners' first touchdown halfway through the 3rd quarter. On the first play of the Ravens' drive, Flacco zipped one targeting Bolden coming over the middle on a dig, but he was unable to haul the hot ball in. On second, Pierce got stuffed in the backfield, and on 3rd and long, someone missed a blocking assignment and Flacco got clobbered from his blind side by a free rushing Ahmad Brooks, and Cook would be punting out of his own end zone. After the Blackout, all the momentum was seemingly with the Niners as Cook's kick was short, and Ted Ginn caught it, quickly changed direction, and worked his way around most of the defenders before Cook barely managed to push him out at Baltimore's 20. Kaepernick hit Vernon Davis again on a shallow crosser, and he broke several tackles before going down inside the 10, before the Niners tried a little misdirection, getting the defense to watch Kaepernick while Gore followed the lead blockers around the edge and into the end zone. And with Akers' kick being good, this blowout had suddenly turned into a one-score game in a matter of minutes. Rice again fell forward for 3 on first. Flacco found him in the flat on second, but he fumbled it as he tried to stiff-arm Terrell Brown, who recovered and jumped on it, giving the ball to the Niners at Baltimore's 24. Kaepernick overthrew Davis on first down, and on second, Gore took it up the middle, but Lewis hammered him after a short gain. And on 3rd and long, Kaepernick threw it up for Ted Ginn, but the DB Williams barely got his fingertips on it and broke it up. With a clutch stop, Ballmer's defense managed to make the Niners settle with a kick, but Akers' kick went just left of the upright. They were about to go unpunished for the turnover, but somebody ran into the kicker on the attempt, and they'd get another try, which Akers wouldn't waste, hitting it right down the middle this time. Pierce was shoestring tackled after a short gain on first. On second, they went right back to him as he got them 3 yards shy of the marker, and on third, Flacco found Bolden open on the out route where he was able to turn upfield and get more before getting shoved out in Niners territory. A quick throw to Pitta in the flat got them halfway to another conversion, and Rice got spun down on his next carry, getting them to 3rd and 1, where Pierce broke a few arm tackles in the backfield and worked around the edge, where he'd pick up the first down, but was brought down awkwardly by his neck and was seemingly injured on the play. Rice took the next carry for a strong 4 as he forced his way forward, and on second, Flacco hit Bolden, who faked out his defender on the route and went out inside the 10. Rice got them halfway there on 1st and goal, but was stuffed on second, and on third, Flacco stiff-armed defenders rolling right before eventually just having to throw it away. It looked like he got hit late out of bounds, but it went uncalled, and the Ravens would have to settle for 3, making the lead 8 once again early in the 4th. The Niners started with a fake end-around and a handoff to Gore, who took it for 5. Kaepernick faked the handoff to him on second and lofted a beautiful ball to Randy Moss on the corner route to get them into Ravens territory. Gore weaved through the defense after an inside handoff on the first play, and he rumbled his way all the way down into the red zone for the Niners. Cap kept the ball on the read option, but was quickly tackled on first, and on second, he showed off his wheels again as he broke the Ravens' contain and galloped all the way into the end zone for the score, and they get a chance for a game-tying 2-point play. The Ravens' all-out blitz worked on the 2-point try though, as Cap had to get rid of it way over Moss's head, incomplete. Flacco barely got his throw off to Rice on the screen on first down, and the blocking didn't really develop, resulting in a short 4-yard gain. On second, Rice was dropped in the backfield by linebacker Bowman to back them up to 3rd and 9, where Flacco stepped up and missed Smith, who was being held in coverage, giving them a crucial first down. Pierce was back in the game and got a minimal gain on first, before Flacco pump faked several times on second before hitting Bolden while rolling right, and while initially it looked like he was short of the line, a generous spot gave them a first down, but Harbaugh challenged the ruling and it was eventually overturned. On the crucial 3rd and inches, knowing the defense would stack against the run, the Ravens decided to throw it, and Flacco's back shoulder throw to Bolden was hauled in through heavy contact, and they managed to pick it up through the air. Next play, Rice galloped through the hole behind his fullback for another chain-moving play with a gain of 13. He got a minimal gain on the next play, and Pierce came in on the next play and got stuffed, leaving them on 3rd and long, where the Niners defenders came across before the snap, causing Flacco to throw it away, and they'd get another crack at 3rd down, much to the dismay of Jim, who was crashing out on the sideline. Flacco tried Pitta on the stick route, but the throw was low and he dropped it, meaning that the Massage Maniac's kick would give them only a 5-point lead, with plenty of time for San Fran's next drive left on the clock. Gore took a dive from the full backfield on 1st and 10 and managed to fight for some tough extra yardage to set up 2nd and 3, where Cap easily broke the pocket and zoomed to the sideline for a pickup of 8. Kaepernick stepped up and delivered a frozen rope that was barely too far in front of the outstretched hands of Davis on 1st and 10 before delivering a beautiful ball on 2nd and 10 over the middle to Crabtree on the dig, where he fought through tackles going down at the 40. Gore split 2 defenders going through the hole on first as he rounded the edge and got loose into the secondary before stepping out at Baltimore's 7. There was 2:39 left on the clock, and they decided to run a dive up the middle to take it to the 2-minute warning before trying a rollout play where Kaepernick fired for Crabtree in the end zone, but it was broken up from behind. On 3rd and goal from the 5, Jim had to call a timeout before the Niners lost yardage from a false start, and on the retry, Cap tried Crabtree again, but he was absolutely blasted, helmet to helmet, in what would have certainly been a targeting penalty today, and he lost the ball incomplete. On 4th, the Ravens stacked the line and pressed on the outside. Cap caught the snap and instantly lobbed it for Crabtree in the end zone, but it flew over his outstretched hands, and with only 1 timeout left, the game was almost certainly over for the Niners. Jim wanted a holding call on the play, but it wasn't called, and after a few short rushes to bleed the clock, the punter, Cook, ran around for as long as he could in the end zone, which it didn't seem like the Niners were ready for, and took a safety, leaving only 4 seconds on the clock. Ted Ginn caught the kick and weaved through defenders, but was eventually tackled at midfield, and the game was over. John ended up beating his brother in the Harbaugh Bowl, Flacco got his ring, and Ray Lewis got his second. Kaepernick would go on to die in a tragic protesting racism accident, and Jim would leave the Niners after a breakdown in his relationship with the front office. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends if you liked it. Also, I just made a Patreon if anybody wants to help me escape to Argentina before Roger Goodell headshots me outside my front door. I just posted an exclusive video of my live reaction to my team getting blown out in the Super Bowl if you guys want to check that out. Anyways guys, all jokes aside, I'm going back in time and making a what the f happened video for every past Super Bowl, and I even have one for this year's Super Bowl, so go and check it out. Peace!